Okay, I guess I'll call the meeting to order right around 6 p.m. This is the meeting of the local budget committee, and it's December 12th, 2024. And tonight we're going to discuss water fund, sewer fund, public works, and anything else that folks want to bring up. Tom, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, any public comment? Seeing none, we'll start right in. Town manager, do you have anything?
Nope, all ready to go.
Okay, let's start with the water fund.
So, water fund, you'll see the normal breakout that we have in the enterprise funds, which is personnel administration for healthcare, life insurance, disability, workers' comp, and then we get into technology and we get into the budget itself. I want to just remind you, when we get there, you'll see an incremental increase in the administrative allocation costs of the water and sewer department, and that's partially because of, or wholly the increase is because of the adjustment made for the director's position. Instead of breaking it out amongst the budgets, we did 60% to the general fund, 20% to water, 20% to sewer through administrative allocation.
My favorite subject.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 100 series. We got a few open positions, I see.
Steve, do you want to talk about the open positions?
I just want to, are you in the distribution or the treatment section, John?
Yeah.
Personnel administration.
Well, yeah, it's a little,
It's
yeah,
split.
personnel administration, there's a breakdown, a couple pages in page 3 of the positions.
Yes. So we have made a couple changes recently, probably since this has been updated. We promoted from one from within for the foreman. And after it's all shaken out, we have in the water side, we only have one open position left as the entry-level maintenance.
Okay, do we have to adjust the salaries or any of that other stuff?
No, because we kept it all based off of our previous personnel, so we're in pretty good shape.
And if I may, on the 19th, when we go over general government, I will be changing all the funds for health insurance and dental, and that will capture any changes that have been made.
Okay, so you don't need any motion from us tonight?
No, not from them.
Okay.
Thank you.
200 series. What's the big jump on the administrative cost allocation? New formula or different formula or?
That jump on the administrative allocation is the 60-20-20 breakout, 60% general fund, 20% to water, 20% to sewer for the director's wages rather than
Chasing it through the budget.
chasing it through the budget.
Okay. Thank you. 200 series.
John,
Yes, sir.
are we in 43350?
43320.
Okay.
Page 6, I guess.
Yeah, we usually jumped on to 7.
Water distribution.
500 series. $600. Maintenance supplies. Year to date is $14,455.
You don't spend 14, you're asking for 42. 630.
So this, when will these run? So these will run on November 4th. That number has changed now. We are going to be almost, we're going to be a little under, but not a whole lot from that by the time we're done. So
Okay.
right now I'm running at 75% of that as of today.
I have a question
Yes, sir.
on that same line. The hydrant replacements, is that a different number from last year? Was it $4,000 a piece for last year?
Same number.
It
Yep.
is?
Yep. Same thing.
Okay. Right.
700 series. $800. And 900. That's it in this section. Now, where would you like to go, Jim?
Treatment plant.
Page 13.
Treatment plant budget is proposed for 2025 is $648,635, a decrease of $19,984 or 3% even.
Thank you. 100 series.
Excuse me.
Tom?
The overtime is a result of the open positions, or?
Yes, mostly yes.
200 series. $300 series.
Question, line
Yes, sir.
three- around line 311. Consultants last year, 5,000 up to 7,500, some reason for that?
So we're actually at, same thing. We are at, this year to date, on consultants,
Asset management software.
yep, the asset management software that we purchased, and we need to re-up that again next year. So that's,
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah.
we did that in 2024, $5,000, now it's 7,500. What's?
well, plus we have other consultants in there too for anything to do with the plant as far as whether it be refining the tech, any of the outlines, any of those things. We use Underwood, and we use Tate and Howard.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anything else on 300?
No,
Move on.
380.
380? Okay, go ahead.
Little explanation as to the $11,494 increase. Where amongst all those items in there have we got the big increase?
Sure. Majority of that is in the, a lot of it is in our monthly testing, and then that's where all of our chemicals and everything comes from. So that's increasing chemicals mostly.
Price
Yes, price increase.
or volume?
Price increase.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. 400 series.
Steve, 431, ground maintenance,
Yep.
is that a once every so many years, or is that?
No, so what that is, Bob, is because of our lack of manpower and lack of able to hire manpower, We actually looked and got a price from outside companies to come and mow at the plant this year, or for 25. So that's, we got 3 different prices, we averaged them out, and that's what it is. We don't, because we're having such a hard time filling these positions, to be able for those guys to go out and mow and weed whack and things like that, versus taking care of the other stuff, I put that in there.
It's gonna be every year.
Unless if we were able to hire full staff next year, so maybe it will go away, and we can go back to redoing it in-house, but right now we can't, we just can't keep it.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
I would suggest that whatever those outside services are, go into the outside services for now, rather than confuse the ground maintenance, because it previously was handled in-house.
Yep.
And you're not doing it in-house, so I would suggest that you go up to the outside services, line 380.
You want to make a motion to change that?
I make a motion to change line 380 by whatever the contracted services are, to come out of line 431 and go into line 380.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing that, the motion is to move line 431 to line 380.
Are we moving the whole thing though? No, just what
Just
that's.
the whole-
Just-
Is that
just-
about cost?
No, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is 10.5.
Oh,
Okay,
So
so
we'd
that's
be moving the whole
that's
thing.
all outside
Yep,
services.
that's all
Okay,
outside,
then.
moving all the outside
All right,
services.
then the whole 10,500.
I mean, how long, what has that line been used for previously?
So that has been used for mower blades or twine for the weed whackers, that kind of stuff. Whatever you would normally have for that. That's why it's been so low.
My thought was, Brian, that being as it's being contracted out totally, instead of being done in-house by his own people, that it go up to outside services.
And I should have put it there. and I
I
missed
guess,
it.
you know, the question I have, is there still a need for something in that line, you know, during the year?
So what I had asked for from them is a full soup to nuts. You guys take care of it, because we're not gonna touch it. So that would be able to zero out that, anything that we used to spend on that would go away.
Okay.
I think the line would still exist, and then when he gets back to doing it in-house, as soon as he crews up, then we'll see dollars in there.
We could take it out of outside services, put it back in the ground.
I'd just like to see it in outside services, because in effect, that's what it is.
Yeah, I get that, I understand that.
Any more questions? Okay, the motion is to move line 431, from the money 431, 10,500, to line 380. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else in 400? Okay, 500? 600? Operating supplies?
Same thing, different type of chemicals, whether it be the sulfate, the soda ash, that stuff, that's all cost increases.
Okay.
Quantities have held the same, all just cost increases.
Anything else for 600? Okay,
John,
700?
excuse me, I
Yes,
have
sir.
a question back on 433, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Machinery maintenance, again, that's doubled. Can you-
Yep. So what we did is we actually, Josh went through and got prices to update and fix the, you know, the rebuild kits, all those things. That's all justified out through that as it carries across. He actually went through and did a full accounting of what he needed to work on for the next year.
Okay. I guess my point of this thing is the fourth item down, maintenance kits for ATV mowers and power equipment. Mowers are out the
Going
window
away.
because you're not using them.
Yep, you are correct.
So
I missed that one.
I'd like to reduce line 433 by $1,000.
Okay.
Move to
reduce that line by $4,000.
Still second.
Okay.
By how much? $1,000.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, just, I have a question. Steve, do you use the ATV for things other than ground maintenance?
We do. That, they use that to, out on all the cross-country lines, when they run the cross-country lines around the pond in areas like that.
Does it need any maintenance?
It's probably okay. Not enough to really split hairs for $1,000.
Well, I didn't know if it needed a couple hundred or
No,
something.
if it needs an oil change or something, it's, it's not out of the realm to keep things even keeled.
Any other questions? Okay, the motion is to reduce line 433 by $1,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, 600 series. $700 series.
Line 740, John?
Yes, sir.
I just have a quick question. Reduction of 5,500, did something get moved? Or is that-
No, we fixed what we needed to do last year, and that actually, on that is, those pumps and a lot of that stuff we took care of in the plant upgrade
Well, okay.
system.
Just wanted to be sure you didn't miss something.
700, 800. $810, travel and meetings.
So we, Josh has asked to be able to go to the water conference that they put on every year, and we haven't had a representative go to that in quite some time. So that was what we were hoping to do this year.
$900 series.
If I may?
Yes.
Back in 2022 on the ballot, there was a warrant article for water treatment plant and systems upgrade for $1,470,000, with $735,000 coming from ARPA, which is a grant, which is money we do not need to pay back, and another $735,000 to be coming from drinking water state revolving fund. That revolving fund just closed in November, so we borrowed $714,508, a little less than authorized. Interest rate is at 0, however, because the state has an admin fee of 1.25. It's a 20-year term. I need to ask to increase the debt service principal and the debt service interest for this department. I also want to say that the $714,508.77, we got principal forgiveness of $148,065. So we're really only paying back before interest $566,000. It's almost a 21% principal forgiveness, which is a great thing. So I would like to ask somebody to make a motion to increase 0243350980 by $32,080 to a total of $223,330, and the interest 981 increase by $6,773 to $13,699.
I'll make that motion.
Just give me the numbers again, please.
Ending numbers or the increasing numbers?
The increases.
The increase, $32,080, 32080, and then interest is increasing $6,773.
I'll second.
Okay, so what's going to be the total debt service for the principal?
$223,330.
Okay, and the interest?
$13,699.
Okay, discussion?
Quick question,
Yes, sir.
what does that change the net minus 3% to based on these increases?
I did not run that numbers. I could do that, but I didn't run it.
You didn't really? Okay,
Nope.
never mind.
Okay,
If you could after we do this motion,
Yep.
I'd appreciate it.
yep, will do, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, the motion is to, line 980, debt service principal, to increase that to $223,330. Also part of that motion is to increase the interest to $13,699. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have a bottom line number now with everything?
I'm working on that. Oops, that didn't work. 648. $687,488.
Repeat that, please.
687,488.
Thank you.
Now is a 2.8% increase.
So what is that? Is that like a, we were 2.99 decrease, so we're about even from what we were last year? Oh, wow.
Say that again, we were a 3% decrease before this motion, and now we're almost a 3% increase.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess my other question is, what's that, those grant effects, is that a grant effect on our cash flow? On the-
Yeah, that was built into the rates as they were set last time, and they're working through the rate setting right now.
Oh, all right.
But these things weren't, this wasn't on a debt schedule, because until we get the details, now it's on the debt schedule. Remember that short list I had
Yeah.
of things issued but not,
Yep.
I mean authorized, not issued, excuse me. God bless you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, before we jump to the next section, Steve, you mentioned that you've got an open position.
Yes.
Where do you think that's going to be filled? When do you think you're going to fill that?
When?
Yeah.
As soon as somebody wants to come. It's not for lack of trying. So right now, overall in water, we have one sewer open and one water open.
Okay.
Actually, and then we have one at the plant open too. So we have 3 total, 1 in each department. We're actively trying. We just-
Okay.
Any qualifications?
No,
Show up?
show up at this point. No, we know we have to train, we have to do everything. So anybody that can, you have to be able to pass a test after you've been here for a while. You gotta get some licenses, which we pay for, we train, we do all those things. We just need to get people that are willing to come on board. And that's a struggle.
So there's no adjustment to your salaries, like take a month worth of salaries out of January. As soon as someone comes, you're going to hire them.
As soon as they walk in the door, we'll hire them.
Okay. Where would you like to go now, Jim?
Probably sewer, right?
How about capital outlay for water?
Let's do that last. So that
Okay.
we just- right to sewer. First portion is personnel administration.
Okay, 100 series?
personnel, John?
What's that? Yeah,
Personnel only has 200 series.
oh, I'm sorry, oh, I'm in sewage collection, I apologize. 200 series.
Then we jump to page 4, which is the technology line.
Flat from last year.
Yep. And then we would jump to sewer collection. Sewer collection budget for 2025 proposed $390,435, an increase of $28,273 or 7.8%.
Okay, 100 series. $200 series. Okay. 300 series.
Question,
Yes, sir.
line 380, outside services? 380, what's it?
Well, I proposed, when I sat here a year ago, I proposed 55,556. Default dropped it down, so I'm keeping my same number from last year. That would allow me to do camera and inspection on the sewer services, which is what that,
Your original budget for last year was the same as this year?
Correct.
Is that what I'm hearing?
yes. And that'll pretty well hold through most of the evening.
Okay.
You can see it in column 2, Bob.
Yeah,
That was before default.
okay.
Okay, 400 series. $600. $630.
Yep. Maintenance supplies. So that's our line that we have anytime we have any repairs, digs, that's where our crushed gravel, our hot top, our generator maintenance, oils, belts, all those things all come out of that line. So again, it's the same one, it's relatively the same of what I proposed, it's exactly the same what I proposed last year. That's just reflects the actual costs of items.
Thank you. 700 series. 800. Where to now, Jim?
Next would be page 11. This is the wastewater treatment plant contracted operation. We're working right now to extend that contract, which is a cost plus contract. And current contract is, or the current budget for the wastewater treatment plant, $1,438,065, an increase of $10,036 or 0.7%.
Yep. 300 series. Same question on the admin cost.
Yeah, same thing, this increase is the administrative allocation for the director's salary.
400 series. $500. $600. 900. Any questions on the wastewater treatment?
So I guess now we would go to Public Works.
Question, John.
What's that?
Are you gonna cover the capital outlays with one bunch at the end? Or are you gonna?
How do you want to do it, Jim?
I would rather do them at the end.
Okay, okay.
So Public Works Administration, again, previously here, the director salary and the previous assistant's salary were allocated out over a number of budgets. We brought them all in, captured them in this budget, so you can see how much it actually costs for the employees fully loaded, and Steve is broken out through administrative allocation. So you will see an increase in these numbers in this budget. The total budget is proposed $317,826, an increase of $147,902, or 87%.
Okay, thank you. I just want to jump back to the water fund, the sewer fund real quick. We put that money up front, Jim, right? And then that's paid back by the users, correct?
That is paid for by the users, correct?
Okay. So we have the revenue stream to cover this.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 100 series. $200 series. $300 series. $400 series. $500. $600. $800. That's it on administration.
Your next budget is going to be highways and streets, starting on page 6, and you'll see under supervisory salary a reduction in there. That's why you see the increase in the administrative budget. This total budget is $1,731,041, or an increase of $220,964, or 14.6%.
I beg your pardon, Jim, where are we going now?
43120.
Got it, thank you, thank you. Sorry.
It's okay. Same thing, 100 series. How are you positioned?
I have one open one there.
Okay. You guys do a good job too. Well, you do a great job. Not just good. I appreciate it. Never got stuck yet this year.
Still early.
Okay, 200 series. 300 series.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Line 380, outside services. A fairly big jump, I'm just wondering, another question, all this road striping, does the state not do any of it?
None of our roads, no. Doesn't do anything on our stuff. State only does their own.
28109, that kind of.
2819.
Yeah.
Yep, everything else is us. All of our parking lots, crosswalks, and roads. Yep. So that is an increase of roughly $7,000 over last year's proposed budget. And I did not do any line striping this year for two reasons. One, with all the construction downtown, and we topped a couple roads, Pleasant Valley Road and those, and I didn't want to paint lines on the binder in the spring and then pave over them. So with default and everything we were in, that was a place that I could try to shrink up a little bit for the year.
Okay, so basically this is $7,000 over the original budget last year before the default.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, for clarification, do we paint the parking lines on the state roads and the crosswalks across the state roads?
Yes, because we own all of those.
Hey, excuse me, 400 series?
Line 430,
Okay.
is this also a default budget question?
Yep, so last year I proposed 155 and that 155 this year, and I'm about 150 right now.
So it looks good.
We'll eat, I know we have I'll probably end up around 165 this year.
Okay.
Interestingly, Bob, his 5-year average is 155, 287.
Pretty close to the pin.
Pretty much nailed it.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else in the 400 series? 500, 600?
Line 630, please.
Yeah.
Is that also a default
Yep.
budget question?
Yeah, line 2 and line 6 match.
Okay,
Column 2,
Sorry,
and column 6.
column 2 and column 6.
gotcha. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're right. I was mistaken.
Okay, 700 series? $800 series? So Steve, basically the increases that you have in your budget are due to having the default budget last year
Yes.
to make those repairs that you did have done? Okay.
Yeah, we're running roughly $41,000 over my proposed budget from last year.
Okay,
Difference between this one and the one where it's at here a year ago.
okay, thank you.
So your next budget is page 15.
Could I,
Yep.
could I go back to the diesel line, 636? I'm just curious, given snow plowing and all that, are those mostly diesel?
Yes.
engines?
Yeah,
So-
90% of what we have is diesel.
And looking at your current 2024, you're at 62, you're all right with the 59?
Yeah, that's all based on what we pay at that particular year, so it's kind of a somewhat of an estimate.
Goes down a little.
Goes down a little, goes up a little.
Thank you.
Okay, now, do you
Page 15, bridges. This was a new department established last year. So we received some grant funding from the state, and this gives us the ability to actually have a standalone budget so that we can track costs for our bridges.
presumably these figures for maintenance and so on, they came from someplace else and are not there, or are these just,
So when I started, we really didn't have any bridge maintenance at all. So when we got some grant money for this and then we formed this department, so we didn't expend any money out of here this year because last year I bought enough sealer and lumber basically to handle resealing, getting everything sealed this year. We had a baseline of probably 2 years worth of work to do to get them to be able to really start to maintain them. So we're at the end of that cycle now.
so the figures, so the figures that you took from 23, you just got plotting those in for 25, and so even though there's nothing expended on 2024.
Correct.
Okay.
I had surplus material from 23, basically.
We all set on bridges?
So your next budget, it'll be on page 17. The Public Works Garage, they maintain most of the fleet of the town. They do all of the state inspections for us. This budget, 2 employees, $261,597, a reduction of $4,196 or 1.6%.
Thank you. 100 series? Two employees?
Yes.
$200 series? $300 series?
300 series, question?
Yes, sir.
Mine's 332, and it's just a question. The 23,200, those are what your estimated expenditures will be, right?
That is
Or is that a net?
That's neither. What that is a placeholder account. That's what we use to purchase all the material for everything. So it's a revolving account. We bill you, we do your work, then we bill you, the money comes back in, and that balances out, but it always carries a balance all year long.
Okay,
So it'll balance out by end of January or February when the bill is done.
understand. So anything in that line basically is reimbursed, quote unquote, by the other department?
With the exception of about 23,000. So there's some things that are built into the Public Works garage that they maintain for every department, no matter what.
Gotcha.
Oil, normal maintenance. Anything above and beyond that gets billed out per department.
Okay, thank you.
400? $500? $600? $700? $800? Where did these guys get their training? Is there classes they go and take stuff for?
So every once in a while you get some. Unfortunately, it's not like the water department and other things. For diesel mechanics, they got to go back to school.
Okay.
So NAPA will put on some once in a while. We're working with some of our vendors, whether it be International and Volvo, two of our biggest, suppliers,
Yeah.
to put on some sort of training for our guys.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm hoping something will come of that by spring.
Okay, any other questions on 800? Okay,
Your next budget is Public Works, Buildings and Grounds. This is made up of 1.5 full-time employees. Budget of $219,187, an increase of $10,003 or 4.8%.
Okay, 100 series. $200 series. $311.
Mhm.
It seems like it looks in 2023 you only spent $4,500 or some change.
So what I'm gonna do, so this is what gives us, when, for example, when I did Mass Landing, that boat ramp a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
the consultants that we use to help for that design comes out of this account. And this year, we're hoping to do the ones at Back Bay, the ramp and the docks.
400 series.
Excuse me, John,
Yes, sir.
380.
Sure, go ahead.
I have a question in about halfway through there. It says janitorial services dockside.
Bathrooms,
Being a restaurant, private restaurant,
outside bathrooms,
don't they get all the outside? So that really the parking lot.
yes. So this covers the railroad station bathrooms, anything downtown, the public bathrooms that fall under Public Works
Okay,
section.
thank you.
Okay, 400.
John,
Yes, sir.
I got a question on 435. Steve, in building maintenance, 435. It looks like in 23 and 24, you spent more than, actually quite a bit more than what you're asking, 14,000. Just wondering if you're comfortable with the 14,000 number.
I am, mostly because we spent a lot this year. So we fixed a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
things this year, so I'm pretty confident with that,
Thank you.
barring,
Careful.
close enough.
Okay, 500. 600. 700. And 800. And that's it on public works, buildings and grounds.
So your next budget is solid waste. This budget is $1,201,580, an increase of $23,377, or 2%.
Very good, thank you.
Yes.
100 series. Series. Series.
Question,
Yes, sir.
line 380. That's $60,000. Steve, is that wrapped up in one item?
I'm sorry.
There's a $60,000 increase in that line item.
That's mostly for tipping fees, for the,
So there's been an increase?
yes,
Yeah,
5%, yes. Usually goes up every year.
So 5%. What
believe
line
it's
would that be?
5%.
Is that line 2 in the detail underneath the outside service?
So we're at last year we're at, I want to say we were at $100 a ton last year, we're at 125 this time, so that's more than 5%.
Yeah.
So we went up $25 a ton.
That's the biggest part of that 60 grand.
That is the 60 grand.
Okay, thank you.
Everything else held pretty steady.
Okay.
How long is that contract left for?
It is actually up next year. So by July, we're gonna need to start renegotiating.
Okay.
It'll go up even more. It's never gonna come down,
Yeah, I wasn't anticipating that.
unfortunately. And there's very few options for us at this point, as long as we.
Basically 2 players.
Right, and Waste Management doesn't want it, so it's really one.
Oh, really? Wow.
The problem we have is how we are set up, as you all know, when you go in there and you drop your trash over, we have 2 comps. And when one of them is full, we work on the second one and they fill up very fast. So what we have is a 3-hour trigger. So when Steve calls Casella, they have 3 hours to respond. So as soon as he gets a comp that's close, he's calling, and we pay for that
Right.
service a lot. But we don't, how we are configured right now, we don't have an option.
What's the solution to it? From our point of view,
We
more
need
dumpsters or
our own
something to
truck.
move them around, or?
Yes, basically our own truck and our own, to control our own stuff. And that's a plan we've kicked around and
So they're paying a premium
we're paying for the service, yes.
because of the short turnaround that you're giving them.
Correct,
You're paying for it.
Yep.
Whereas if we had the capability of moving stuff around,
correct.
we wouldn't be paying that premium, correct?
That is the goal, and that is the preliminary conversations I've had with them. Yes, we could maybe get that cost down.
Roughly, what is that percent?
I don't have that
Premium?
number. I don't have that number.
You don't know what Casella's paying Rochester to...
Well, they have their own in Belmont, so
Okay.
they have their own stuff. I have no idea what they're paying for tipping fees, and I haven't researched it enough. If we were actually gonna get close enough to have our own stuff, then I would start to look into that.
Yeah.
Because there's a few towns around us that obviously that have their own, and,
You have it over in Milton, there's Milton?
Milton has their own,
Yeah.
Alton has their own, I live in Wakefield,
Oh, I'm
Wakefield
sorry.
has their own.
Yeah.
So, and I've been in contact with those guys and how they do things, in Wakefield, for example, Brock will call up and he'll find out who's cheaper. Well, who's gonna pay the most for the metal, who's gonna pay the most for the aluminum, and you're not quite so
Right.
stuck.
Did that metal plant down to Farmington, did that close?
Yes.
Did? Tom?
I was curious, is there an analysis of the breakdown between commercial versus residential usage of, the dump, and are we getting enough from commercial versus residential?
So as far as the household waste goes, if you have a dump sticker and you're a homeowner, you have a dump sticker, you pay one fee. If you're a commercial operation or a trash hauler into there, which is very few around here, there's only a couple, they do pay more for their dump stickers. They pay more to dump in there. We adjusted our rates in February, I believe it was, February or March. We adjusted our rates. The dump stickers, as you know, went up. And then our disposal, what we would charge for any demo or anything that went into the other dumpsters, would be couches or sheet rock or wood. We adjusted all of that this year, and we've certainly noticed a huge difference. That number that was way upside down is, this is never gonna make money, this place, but it's starting to do this.
Yeah.
So the goal is another 6 months or a year, we can start to see what we're gonna have for accurate numbers. Because I think what was happening in the past was, it was actually cheaper to haul your stuff to Wolfeboro. Whether if you were demoing something or you want to throw a couch away, it was cheaper to come here even if you lived in a different town.
Yeah.
Because you could just come in, or everybody with a truck that lives in Wolfeboro come down. Because we'd only charge $5 for the couch and it cost us 60 to get rid of it. So we
Right.
balanced that part of it out.
You go up there, used to be, we go up there and you meet people from other towns and they say, boy, this is a good deal over here in Wolfboro.
Right. And
It's just unbelievable, a
It's-
lot of people.
it's not a good deal.
And that's fine. It should be.
Way to go, Steve.
Well, we want Wolfeboro people to take it somewhere else.
Not all.
95 side of the road.
Don't say that. We get a few of those now.
300.
John?
Yes, sir.
On 430, vehicle maintenance, once again, it's 23 and 24, you spent more than you're asking for, so I just thought I'd ask that question.
Same thing, we put a bunch of money into the backhoe this year, so we believe we're in pretty good shape. Same thing with the skid steer, and those are starting to come due for replacement here in the next couple of years. So
Okay.
we should be pretty good.
Thank you.
Where are you right now,
What do you mean?
expenditure wise?
Oh, for the year?
Yeah.
We're in pretty good shape. This doesn't reflect accurate. I'd say I'm probably 93%.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, 500 series? 600? $700? $800? And that's it for solid waste disposal.
Okay, so that covers your budget. Next would be capital outlays, which I believe start on page 25. There's a series of them in here that Steve will be able to answer questions for you on.
So the first one is the concrete floor, 45.
We want to table that one.
Okay, this is the first one. We have information technology project. No? It's up to IT, okay. Sorry.
Page 25, solid waste facility.
No. Okay, page 25.
Oh, that's dumpsters.
Looks like 2 for solid waste and 1 for sewers.
Yeah, there's some water ones.
Two water, 1 sewer, 2 public works, or solid waste.
So the concrete floor and the solid waste facility.
Yep. So we need to look to replace the floor up at the dump. We're kind of hoping to do half and half, do half of it, and then next year do the other half of it. So our rough estimate was 45,000 per half. And the steel is starting to show through it now, and it's certainly showing its age. I'm guessing it's probably 50 years old. I have no idea how old the building is. Neither does, we can't really get a good estimate on the floor, but it's in rough shape.
So you guys are gonna have to bust up the current floor that's there and,
I'm gonna have somebody do it. Well, depending, if I can get everything working on the budget, I'd rather have somebody come in. If not, we'll take it out in-house and then we're gonna have somebody pour it. I think I can have somebody do the whole package, so, in the preliminary talks that I've had.
okay. Any questions on the request to do the solid waste facility floor? Okay, the next one is the dumpsters.
Page 26, a series of dumpsters.
Did we buy those last year? Those weren't bought?
We didn't, we cut them out last year.
You cut them out, okay.
Yep. So this is trying to, as we're starting to get towards our own, being our own self-sustaining. Right now, all the dumpsters belong to Casella. Right now, they don't charge us a rental fee. Once the dumpsters that are there are junk, and they bring in the next round, they're gonna start charging us rental on the dumpsters. So I'm trying to get, and I don't know what the rental fee is on the dumpsters, I can't pin that down yet. So I'm trying to get ahead of this by purchasing some each year.
So the 30,000 is how many? One dumpster or
3,
3?
should be 3.
Okay, does this partially address that issue that I talked about a little earlier?
No, no, it doesn't allow us to move them, but allows us to have our own equipment.
Okay.
I have somewhere that will go, where is that? I put together that proposal for the truck and.
Yeah, so we're in the very preliminary stages, and it notes in here that we are looking at potentially securing a yard truck in the next year or two. I think that is something that we need to do in concert with the new contract, and to be able to say, okay, you know what, we have the opportunity to secure a truck, and by securing the truck, we may see an offsetting reduction in our fee to the disposal tipping company. So,
The other thing that I'm working on, and I feel pretty good enough so I'll say it out in public, is working with Lakes Region Planning on a recycling program for, now I lost the word, compost, for composting. And that grant will get us some smaller dumpsters and things that we could actually separate some of the composting material, which twofold. One, it's good obviously for the environment, but it actually gets us out of our solid waste stream, so we're not paying to get rid of it. And the flip side to that is I'll need to be able to move those around. So I'm hoping within the next couple of years that will come to fruition too, and we can try to start shrinking all of our expenses down a little bit.
I know this is probably a little preemptive, but do you have any ballpark numbers, what a used yard truck
I looked at them.
would run?
I looked at them, and I think for under 100, the 90 to 100 range, we can get a used one, a decent used one that'll last us for a bit. You know, I don't want to put it on running to Belmont or Rochester every day, but you know, an occasional trip or around be pretty good. New, they're 600-700 grand.
Main use would be up there, right, moving dumpsters.
Can you buy one for 100 and then do some work to it and get something that's travelable?
Possibly. You know, even at 100, I think I wouldn't hesitate to run a dumpster to Rochester for 100 grand.
Okay.
But it's going to have 500,000 miles on it. So, you know, every day, no. But enough so we could make something if we had to.
We still have a contract with whoever, right? This would be like kind of a fill-in type of thing?
Correct.
the other conversation that Steve and I had about this was, you know, what is the volume here, and you know, what are we seeing, what are our neighbors seeing for volumes, and is there some efficiencies by joining together? Because we may not be taking a dumpster every day someplace, but we may be every 4 days. And what are their neighbors looking at? So this is setting us up for the future, and we've got some more work to do.
One thing that would, Bob asked a good question, I'll just rephrase it. I think something that for me, I could wrap my arms around, if I know the expense of where we are now,
Yes.
and then moving in the direction that you want to go to is a good direction. But if it's going to cost the same, why would we want to do that? So if there's some economies of scale there by doing it,
To give you
we're all in. But I mean, I don't know if you can.
To give you an idea, give me 1 second.
While he's looking that up, this conversation did go through the CIP process, and it was floated out there, talked about, and we've just got more work to do.
We spent $175,000 last year in trucking fees, just to truck it, not to dump it, just for them to pick it up and take it. $175,000. And that's been a rough average over the last, since I started tracking it 3 years ago. So the cost is there, but again, it's not just a truck. It's a driver, and it's head count, you know, and all those things add into it. But there is a significant cost in the trucking.
What did it get like a per trip? You have that broken down?
Yeah, it's $465 a load each time. So if you look back in there in the breakdown, it has estimates of how many loads we take.
Right.
And like I said, that's for the demo cans, that's for everything. I did quick math there, and it's like 175-ish.
We're pretty close to a break even. A man, a truck.
Well, I mean, you know, the manpower part, I think, is the hard one there, because that's a compounding effect over time, retirement, blah, 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 blah. So,
But we would get away from the piece that's in that tipping fee. Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. That's something that I'm working on with them, but I haven't pushed it too much because I don't necessarily want to give them the idea that we'll go that way, because...
You don't want to lift your skirts right now.
Yes.
I understand.
And it's interesting what you say, because
Yeah, we're talking about buying dumpsters. I'm thinking about, so we buy dumpsters and the haulers come in and take them away. is there an advantage to renting so that we don't incur the damage that might occur to these?
And that's certainly something to look at too. This for me is, I think where we are going is we're gonna end up hauling our own stuff, whether that's next year, 3 years, 5 years
Over
down the road.
time.
So instead of going all in and spending for a truck, a man, dumpsters and everything all one shot, this is a nice way to ease into that. So maybe we can start to save a little bit and get us there. I'm just trying to break it out over a period of time.
I'm just thinking about the truckers. Do
Yep.
they respect our
Yes.
equipment?
I'd like to say yes.
I would disagree. Not for your
Understand.
guys, I'm thinking about guys in general
Yes.
driving a truck, whether it's
Owner
delivering
operators.
appliances or whatever. it is.
Understand.
Owner
100%.
But these are gonna scale back until they start charging the rent, right?
I'm sorry?
Are they gonna scale back new until they start charging to rent the dumpsters, or,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Steve, what's the lifespan of a dumpster?
It depends. It should last a long time, but to what these guys are saying, depends on how much they get beat up. But it's all steel, so on the off chance you punch a hole in it, weld it up. You know what I mean? It's a dumpster at the end of the day. So we have multiple welders, we have multiple guys that can weld and work on a dumpster. There's no, there's no engine, there's no electrical, it's welded steel.
Would you estimate the average
I would
container to be
10, 15 years.
20?
Yeah, I'd say 10, 15 years.
Okay, we outside of the dumpsters. Move on to
Page 34 is roofs for water fund.
So we have a bunch of buildings up at the water treatment plant, and a couple of those need new roofs. Shingles are starting to certainly show their age. Nothing is leaking yet, but we want to replace it with the same metal roofing that we have on the plant.
You got bids and all that, so this is a pretty solid number.
Yes.
Okay, any questions on the new metal roof? Let's move on.
Page 35 is water doors.
And that didn't get it. That number should be 15,000. I don't know if it says it on your copy.
It does not.
It's supposed to be 15. We figured this out at, Josh had a typo in there. And we figured that out when we went to the board. So that's 15,000 to replace a couple sets of doors that are rotting up at the plant as well. So those are metal insulated safety doors. They're double doors.
Is that including the insulation?
Yes, that's insulation installed.
Okay.
So for clarification, the selectmen already made that decrease.
Just a quick question.
Yes,
The
sir.
frames and everything that are going to hold these new doors, those are okay, so
Yes.
there's an issue with
Yeah,
nice doors and then the frames are coming down?
yeah, no, all good.
Okay.
Chandelier in front of the house.
Let's move on to,
Page 36 sewer pumps for $12,000.
Steve, how long down the road do you think we'll have to get new pumps and all that stuff?
Well, that's a constant thing, John. We have the two new stations that are, one is going to go in February, that's Lantern Street. Mill Street is gonna go out to bid again, hopefully first of the year. So that will take care of our two biggest ones, and then we're gonna start to, my goal is to start to do an eval on the rest of them to get a replacement plan in place for further, so I can have their answer for that question.
Okay, thank you.
What about that one on Clark Road that you showed me?
Yes,
Is that one of them?
that's one of them. That's actually not the worst one.
It's not.
No, it's not. Chris is shaking his head over there.
Okay.
Clark Road isn't the worst.
Okay, any more questions about the parts for the sewer pump station? 12.
That's it.
That's it. I have a question for you, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain to the folks how that's working out downtown on the paving and the replacing of the pipes and all that?
Well, it's been fun, guys. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
It's like permanent frost use.
Well,
Road is bumpy.
the road is bumpy. That is temporary pavement. It will be redone, permanent trench patch in the spring. For the time being, we are in discussions with the contractor and our engineers in DOT. The three of us are in discussions with our contractor to do something about that and that. And that's about as far as I want to go with that.
So then we'll have the sewer project, is that next year?
No, the sewer project is now going to go, we've pushed that till 26. And then that pushes the street drainage portion of that till probably 27, 28.
Okay, so we're probably not gonna pave the whole thing over until 27, 28,
Correct.
when everything's over.
Now, when the water section of that is done, it should be relatively seamless. It will, not should, it will be flush and it will be proper. So it won't be like it is now.
It'd be interesting how much water we save by putting the little pipes in and everything, you know, from the leaks. Or they must have found a lot of leaks, did they, when they were?
No, actually,
Really?
that water main wasn't in horrible shape. It wasn't, I mean, it was 100 years old, but
Yeah.
for the age of it, it was in better shape than we thought it was gonna be.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. The sewer, when we do the sewer, we should notice more of a difference,
Yeah.
because that line is bad.
Is that where they'll find the wooden, someone said there may be some wooden pipes and stuff like that?
That was a lot of social media
Yeah.
on that one. What that was a piece of conduit that they drilled, somebody drilled a hole through.
Oh, okay.
That's what they found. We haven't found any wooden water mains in Wolfeboro yet.
You haven't gone up North Main Street.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
The state will find those when they put the survey.
so if that answers your question the best that I can at the moment.
Okay.
I got something.
Go ahead, Mark.
Steve, can I ask you, this could be a quick answer, how are the basins, the rapid infiltration basins doing, and
They're doing well.
the whole system is
Yep, that whole
working pretty
system
well?
is doing well. Yep.
Good, very good.
I have one comment I'd like to give the Public Works / Water / Sewer / whatever director a big kudo, because when you consider what this budget we're looking at, the increases, those are increases against the default budget.
Right.
That ain't much.
Yeah.
So really appreciate the work.
Thank you. And I'll pass that along to the guys, because
Please pass it
they
on.
work very hard to get us
Yep.
to be able to do,
Guys have done yeoman's work.
what, you know, and I said this yesterday, you know, our job is to come here and tell you what we need. It's your job to tell us what we can have, you know? And we will always do everything that we can with what we have. But it is nice to be able to go through and say, look, you know, this is what we need. And would I like more on different lines? Absolutely, but at the end of the day, we can only do so much. You know, I mean, our crew is only so big, and we can only spend so much. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to ask for something that I don't think we can do.
And he's really done as we've asked him, which is purpose your staff for maintenance, not
Yes.
construction. And I think in the next couple of years, we're gonna see dividends on that maintenance.
Absolutely.
Going forward.
We are not a construction company. That's not what we do. We have a lot of maintenance in this town to take care of, across all departments, not just highway, but water and sewer as well. It's maintenance. If we can just keep what we have going and then start to replace it as we go, we'll be in pretty good shape.
Thank you.
Anything else? Steve, thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas, you and your family and all the employees.
You too, guys.
Let's start
You're
making some
dismissed.
cuts to the CIP stuff.
Why?
No, you guys do a great job. That's it that we have for tonight. Any questions from the public? No? Okay.
I don't know if everybody's met these two gentlemen. As discussed, I think with you previously, we put in we were trying to hire a deputy director of public works. We had 5 applicants. We went through the process. We narrowed it down. We interviewed 2, and we made the decision. Let's promote from within and take care of our own people, and have a couple of operations managers. So Steve Pesci is the operations manager for the general fund, which is water, sewer, buildings, and buildings, grounds, public works, garage, streets and highway, bridges. So he's basically the lead person for that department, and Chris Maines is the gentleman who's in charge of the operations of water and sewer. So it does help to get these guys in to see the process. They've been active in a lot of these processes, learning every day, and they're doing an outstanding job for us, and just would like to have introduced them.
Congratulations, guys.
I'd like to say, for them, so Steve's been here for 6 years, he worked for the highway department, and Chris has been here for 7 years, and he was the former foreman of the water and sewer department, so these guys came up
Worked their way up.
and worked their way up too, so they know the ground level stuff.
That's great.
You know, so they have a really good grasp on what it is that we're doing, and make my job a little easier.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Jim, do you have anything else?
Nothing.
Okay, I guess we'll entertain a motion to adjourn, unless anyone has anything.
Second.
Our next meeting is going to be on
Monday the 16th.
all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.